I saw happened in my own state, Kogi, Mr. President calls for amelioration. Mr. President, the ADC to my governor, the night before the elections of the 9th of March, barricaded the entrance into Lokoja and personally, Mr. President, personally led over 200 armed men, some of whom are not authentic army and policemen, and stopped many politicians from getting access to the state. And every VIP that had a policeman with him was disarmed and the policemen arrested by the ADC to the governor of Kogi State. And as a result of this, the former governor of the state, his policemen were withdrawn and arrested, and Alhaji Ibrahim Idris had to turn back to Abuja. The same thing happened to Senator Ogembe. The same thing happened to a member of the House of Reps, Honorable Kabiru. When I saw this happening to them, Mr. President, I had to consult the Celestial and got to my village through Celestial means. Mr. President, as we can also see that on the 23rd, when we were having the House of Assembly and Governorship elections, this same ADC carried a rifle and led men pulling booth by pulling booth, snatching ballot boxes and shooting sporadically. Mr. President, this is not the democracy that Chief Obafemi Awolowo dreamt of. This is not the type of elections that Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe proposed to us when they started the journey of Nigeria. This is not the kind of Nigeria that Sardauna Amadu Bello, I'm sure, is turning in his grave in anger. That this is not the Nigeria of his dream. Mr. President, when I saw in Rivers military men and armies barricading and blocking the entrance of the INEC headquarters in Port Harcourt, stopping INEC officials who have finished collation in their local government from entering the premises of INEC for final collation, then I begin to wonder what kind of democracy we practice. It is more worrisome, Mr. President, that the number of lives lost in the 2019 elections is unprecedented in the history of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Even when the famous June 12 election was annulled, we did not lose lives in this magnitude. Will the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria keep quiet? How long, Mr. President, shall we continue in sin and ask grace to abound? I call on my colleagues this morning. It is not about PDP. It is not about APC. It is about Nigeria. Where is NPN today? Where is UPN? Where is NRC? Parties will come and go, Mr. President, but Nigeria will continue to remain an entity by the grace of the Almighty God. I want to call on us this morning to debate this issue dispassionately. Our brothers and sisters were killed by armed men. The bullets used in killing these people, including a lecturer who allowed himself to be used for national service in the conduct of this election, was killed in Rivers State. Youth corps members who swore allegiance to defend their country were killed during these elections. Mr. President, We cannot keep quiet in the face of obvious obscurity. In the midst of all this, Mr. President, it is pathetic that there is no presidential broadcast or statement from the leader of this country, who is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. This is a national calamity. We must, as a Senate, devise means to make sure that never in our history again will we conduct this type of militarized elections. The role of the Nigerian Army is very, very clear. If a policeman by the polling unit cannot carry a gun, what will a military man armed to the teeth, both original and fake military people, what will they be doing in INEC office? The home of one of the commissioners in Rivers State, we saw the video taken over by the military. They even entered his kitchen and arrested people indiscriminately. Nigeria is not a banana republic. If we're out of fear, or some of us here, out of our election being declared as inconclusive, refuse to speak, a day will come, our children will ask us, Daddy, you were a senator. Mommy, you were a senator. When Nigerian elections was getting bad, what did you say? What did you do? A word is enough for the wise. I so move.
Has been properly captured by Senator Dino. Whatever we're going to say will just be simple additions to this. But Mr. President, we're Nigerians. We're in Nigeria. And for this Nigeria to be a place for all of us, we must be able to speak truth to power. What is wrong is wrong. What went wrong during the elections are fundamentals which must be properly addressed. Whoever is citing what went wrong at the general elections for partisanship is unfair to Nigeria and Nigerians, and is unfair to the future of democracy in Nigeria. And because of this, Mr. President, we must be able, as elected members and representatives of the people, be able to tell the truth where it should be. That election was a sham. There was no way that election could have been an advancement on the 2015 elections. Because in 2015, everything was done according to the will of the people. Mr. President, everything was inconsistent. INEC was inconsistent. The parameters they used were different in various states and in very many units. That is wrong. Mr. President, can I finish, sir? There was massive deployment of military. In fact, it was inelegant to use the EFCC to rout people. They used the civil defense. All of them carried arms. Mr. President, there is no wrong that can validate another. We must be able, as a legislature, and this might even be what the 9th Assembly will start with. We need to look at the processes of our elections. From now on, somebody somewhere has refused assent to the electoral amendment. That amendment must be brought out and signed by Mr. President, so that we can at least know that we are going part of the way. Two, Mr. President, rigging was legalized. Vote buying was the order of the day. We need to look into it. And the only arm of government that can do that is the legislature. The time has come for the legislature to rise to this occasion. And we are regulating INEC. Excuse me, sir.
Distinguished colleagues, let me come in here, please. We have an opportunity.
Order 53-4. Order 53-4. Order 53.4, Mr. President, with your permission, I read. And it says, a senator must confine his observations to the subjects under discussion and may not introduce matter irrelevant thereto. Mr. President, even the mover of the motion, even the mover of the motion, even the mover of the motion,
Which point of order is that?
never ever questioned the elections that took place. I feel that because there is an established process, there is an established mechanism through which anybody who feels dissatisfied of the elections, either process or outcomes, can go and follow the process. The election should have no business here. Debate should not be on the elections. If there are issues, we can discuss those issues. So I shall submit.
In a very statemently and get some results. If those contributing must restrict clearly to the issue, because otherwise it will degenerate and will not make any progress. Senator Dino has raised most of the issues. So any contribution now I would like to say is let me just finish. Should be strictly on us going at the prayers that has become, if there are contributions or suggestions, and we move forward. Because if we carry on, at the end of the day, we will not achieve the purpose of the motion. So if anybody is going along those lines, I will interject and we'll go straight to the prayers. The prayers have been said, the lead debate, lead motion, who was the main sponsor has said, if there's any contribution to suggestions, then we'll make otherwise we will not make any progress. So let me restrict that clearly so that we can yeah. Just wait, just let her finish now. She'll finish now after you finish. Yeah.
And